Hello. Good morning to all the students and participants. We have a wonderful lecture on corporate financial accounting and tips to crack in MNC interviews. The speaker is, I have, I'm pleased to introduce a speaker. He's a uh, great gentleman and he's a chartered accountant. His name Nitesh Kumar Maheskar, chartered accountant and valuation professional in financial assets class and the versatile, high energy professional with 11 years of valuable experience and highly dedicated in finance, audit, taxation, and corporate RTR. Currently employed as Assistant Vice President in Citco Group Services LLP, that's MNC company, and a focused professional in regard to report, audits, bookkeeping, IFC, FR, SOX valuation, corporate accounting, taxation, forensic audits, analytics, uh, and versatile administrator. Expertise in remote transition, preparation and review of SOPs for process and managing team remotely, and highly professional in managing team and relationship building with off, offshore and onshore clients, expertise in drafting documentation and presenting the findings and process, expert in preparation of SOPs, organizational charts, and process flows as per the business requirement, expertise in drafting, documentation, analysis, testing, and review of business controls for IFC and ICOFR in all kinds of departments around the sphere of multiple industries and sectors. Is skilled in audit management activities, which include planning, designing of audit procedures, scope management, estimation and allocation of time and resource administration and completion of audit. Is skilled in working with complex and multiple data structures and analytics. An excellent team leader and player having relationship building, leadership, presentation, and interpersonal skills. And the speaker, he is actually interested to share with you his knowledge. We are all fortunate to have him on this Sunday. Sir, now the floor is handed over to you to take the session. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I did not expect that you'll be reading my entire, uh, background. But yeah, great to hear. Very less often I hear from a lot of people. But yeah, because of my experience in MNCs, corporates, and I would say in audit firm as well as with manufacturing and industries. So I got a handsome experience in all this that gave me an opportunity to share. Also, my experience when I took interviews to a lot of MBAs, MComs, and etc. So they gave me what perspective I should be looking for, as well as because I was also learner when I was initially taking the interviews. Having said that, let's begin. So, very good morning, all. So, this is your Sunday morning. So, I will not bore you any which ways. I'll keep all your mics open. You have any kind of a doubt anywhere, you can just stop the presentation because I don't have any issues when I'm stopping in the middle. I do remember what I'm already talking about. So, it's easy for us. So, let's keep this session as two-way session. You also speak, I also speak, because I want to listen from you guys that what are your problems and doubts, also what are your issues when it is coming to finance, or when it is coming to practically in terms of finance or your jobs, whatever it is. Okay,
Sir, they
so
can, excuse me, they can use the chat box also.
yeah, you can use a chat box as well. I will keep the chat box myself open here. So any doubt comes up, please do discuss with me. So what I will do is I will walk you through this presentation. I will allocate around 30-35 minutes for this entire presentation, and rest of the 20-25 minutes, whatever is left out, I will walk you through a corporate interview process, I would say, and a corporate learning which you need to present yourself when you are giving an interview for a finance professional wherever you go. It's not that just for an MNC, but it's for any consulting firm or a MNC or anything. Okay, so having said that, welcome you all. Uh, a very good morning. So let's start the topic, corporate financial accounting and tips to crack MNC interviews. Hope you guys can see my screen, right? Someone should confirm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So I am beginning to the first slide. I all know, since you guys are like good finance graduates, so you might be understanding what is the accounting. So I'm not actually taking you through what is the accounting, but in general terms, accounting means keeping the record of everything, whatever you have in your hand in terms of money. So most important thing is money wherever it is involved, and you have to keep that as a note. It can be any kind of a system, doesn't matter whether it's a single entry system, double entry system, or if you're maintaining any small diary in your pocket and you're recording everything, that itself is called as an accounting. Giving formats, formulas, P&L, balance sheet, etc., 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 these are all something which we have developed for reference purposes. Means, suppose someone does accounting in some format, someone uses one type of Excel, someone uses some type of books, just in order to ensure that everybody are having the same kind of accounting books. Government of India along with ICI, they did, okay, fine, we will finalize one format and MCA will release it. MCA is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So they prepared a format, they released it, and putting all your numbers in the formats will be classified as a balance sheet. So this is what is called as accounting. Nothing apart from that. Any doubts anytime, please you can ask me. I will share this presentation to you after this session. So if you want to go through in detail what I have written here, I will definitely or you have any kind of questions, you can reach out to Prakash sir, okay? And having said that, since it is a format based accounting, we have some specific rules. You might be knowing the golden rules, and for actually to ensure that golden rules are followed, we should know what is debit and credit. And trust me, every time I used to get confused until I have cleared my CA that left side is called as a debit and right side is called as a credit. The reason being the change of formats when I had lot many times. Okay. And there is a saying that a chartered accountant who is completely established himself and is having a huge professional experience still forgets which side is a debit and which side is a credit. He generally opens his drawer and sees the book, and in that his book, when he was studying his accountancy, it will be written, okay, left side I've used debit and right side I've used credit. So that is the way he remembers. So that is what is the importance of debit and credit. Maybe he can forget the formats, but he knows that left side is always a debit and right side is always a credit. And in the financial statements, there are three components. One is your balance sheet, second one is your profit and loss account, and third, it is newly introduced. And one more thing I would tell you, cash flow statement is a part of a balance sheet. It is not a separate one. Newly introduced is nothing but statement of changes in equity. There is one more part of a financial which is called as a trial balance, which I have highlighted red in color here. Is not a financial statement, it is just a summary. So if you are preparing a trial balance, don't say that it is a financial statement. Okay, moving on to the next. Yeah, so mode of learning accounting is very important when it is coming to recording your transactions. So I will pause here for a minute. Okay, you can, anybody can unmute yourself and you tell me, how do you generally account a transaction? Okay, you can say, suppose if you are going out and you are purchasing some a mobile, okay, which is a cost of about 10,000 rupees, directly you paid cash. So how do you account that? You can explain me in simple terms. Since this is a two-way around, let's play around it. Anybody? I'm waiting for 10 seconds. Okay, no
Unmute
issues.
the mics and allow, unmute the mic and speak, or you can
Yeah, you
use
can
it
put it on chat
chat
as well.
box. Yeah, chat box you put.
Okay, fine, I will take you through. See, everybody who knows the accounts will definitely perform, or he will write a journal entry. But generally, understanding a journal entry, how to present it, how to write it, if you are able to crack this, then it might be any kind of a provision, any kind of a complex journal entry, you will be able to write through. The reason being, everybody will do the accounting in a reverse manner. Actually, we have to follow a step by step approach to ensure that the accounting is done properly. This is the basic. If you understand the basic, any corporate financial or any financials of a listed company also is not a big deal actually. What people does is, if I start purchasing, they'll start writing like this: purchase account data to cash account. Okay, what is a cash account? Then they'll start thinking, okay, cash account is a real account, it'll go to the balance sheet. What is purchases? Then where should this mobile should go? Whether it should go to fixed assets, it should go to stock. These are some questions which will generally come up. So understanding that, so here I have mentioned the chart, like how your accounting should be done. First you have to learn the accounting concepts. There are 10 fundamental accounting concepts. Then there are 3 conventions. Understanding the concepts and conventions is must, and everybody should know. If they don't know in detail, they should at least understand on a high level. High level means upper se, that yes, there is something called as concepts and conventions. After once you know that this is a concept and convention is done, then you have to classify the accounting event. So I have taken an example: purchase of a mobile phone. So I have purchased a mobile phone which is, for a company like a mobile selling or mobile purchasing company, it is a stock. For a company which is into IT sector, it will be capturing it as a fixed asset, because the nature of that particular transaction differs from a company to company. So next point is classifying your accounting events. So when you classify the accounting events, you should first categorize what is the transaction into. It's a capital account or a revenue account or a deferred revenue expenditure which you will be having a benefit in the future. If it is a capital, then accordingly do your treatment. If it is a revenue, accordingly perform your treatment. Next, apply the account rules. Applying the account rules, it is pretty simple. There are 3 rules: personal account rule, real account rule, and nominal account rule. 3 golden account rules. You apply the account rules, and finally recording of the journal. Nothing but entering the debits and credits of the transaction. Now this is done. Also a small part, just mention the narration. In corporate interviews, wherever I take, suppose if I ask for a guy, please tell me a journal entry of XYZ transaction, 100% of the candidates, trust me, 100% of the candidates will give me journal entry, but they will never mention a narration to it. And very important point, a journal entry is incomplete without a narration. If you definitely put a narration, trust me, my next question would be, I will start asking him on the personal things rather than asking him on the accounting events, because he knows how to do the accounting. Once he knows the accounting, I don't need to ask him again and again, because he has completed the part. So this is one thing which I'll be looking for as a corporate interviewer in terms of a finance job, wherever it is. Okay. Next is you have to classify your transaction, whether it is an asset, liability, revenue, or expense. This is for financial statement reporting purposes. And at the last, summarizing and preparation of your balance sheet. This is nothing but end of your accounts, which is done at the annual level. Okay. So moving on. So what are accounting concepts and conventions? I have given the list here. So there are like 10 concepts and 3 conventions. So if you forget the concept, doesn't matter, but don't forget the conventions, because all your balance sheet, P&L, financials, cash flows, everything will be prepared based on these 3 conventions as assumptions that yes, my business will be a going forward and a going concern. It will be consistent across, means consistent means I'll be following everything, every law. It's not just the accounting, but every law while preparing, also doing the business. And in the end, it is an accrual concept, means all my books will be kept at accrual level. Accrual level are pretty straightforward, means you have to do double entry system. Also you have to ensure that all your expenses which are upcoming in the future, which you know that yes, these expenses are for sure, then I will include in my P&L as well as balance sheet. Now here there is a tip. Suppose if someone asks you for conventions in the interview, then if you start telling accrual, then the first thing they'll tell you, okay, give me some examples about accrual. Trust me, it is a straightforward, every day in day out you see it. You have electricity as an expense, which is every month you'll get it. You might not know what is a future expense, but based upon the previous month, suppose you have expended some 1,000 on the electricity, then 1,000 will be your next month accrual, which is straightforward. You're all kind of, wherever possible, if you are using any kind of supplies which are compulsory in nature, every month they are happening, those are all accrual. You can use electricity, water, your consumables. Suppose if you have a manufacturing unit, then your maintenance charges, which are very straightforward, so you can give those as an example. And these are very small examples. Okay. And trust, wherever you go in an interview, they are not expecting some complex answers, they are like very straightforward answers. Okay. Small questions, small answers. You should not screw yourself, because you should not make the interview complex by giving complex examples. Keep it simple, keep it straight. Okay. So these are your accounting concepts and conventions. I'll just read out for audience purpose. Business entity concept, money measurement, dual aspect, cost, accounting period, conservatism, realization concept, matching concept, materiality, objectivity. And conventions are your going concern, consistency and accrual. I am not explaining this all in detail because we are major topic is corporate financial accounting. So if you have any kind of questions on these concepts and conventions which you don't understand, you can ask me. You can unmute yourself for next 10-15 seconds. I'll pause myself here. Any concept or convention you don't understand in this? Otherwise, I believe that everybody has clear knowledge about concepts and conventions, and I can easily move forward. I take that as a no. So nobody has any questions on it. Great. Then I'll move forward to the next topics. You have to understand first thing while you're doing. Okay, I just got a chat. Cost concept. Okay. So you mean to say that you don't understand what is a cost concept? You can unmute yourself actually, because just writing it, I don't understand. Okay, I am assuming that this is a
Hello?
cost concept, which is a question. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yep. Please tell me.
Yeah, I understood, but I can't able to reproduce that. What is this cost?
No problem. Cost concept, it is pretty straightforward. It is like whatever you purchase. Okay. We are gone with the days where we used to do a barter system. It is direct now, where we have to pay something and get it, and we have to account it. In terms of financials, when you are accounting, or you will say cost concept refers to simple concept of economics. Economics means it's nothing but you pay and you take it. The amount of payment you pay for any particular product, that particular cost, it should be measurable in the sense it should have some monetary value, and that measurement should be at a proper value. Actually, if the measurement is not at proper value, then there are different scenarios, because what happens is, suppose if you go and buy some if you have a business and you buy some goods from your friend and he gives you at a lesser cost, since he's a friend, it is assumed acceptable. If you actually take it at less than a market value, which is considerably very, I would say very less, then what happens is, when we complete the financials, do the all recording, everything, income taxes are done, then question comes is why this purchase cost is very less and why other people are able to procure at higher value. So here comes a small concept called as arm's length. So whatever transaction you do it, it should be at an arm's length. Means whatever price you pay for that particular product should be measurable, it should be reliable, as well as it should be marking to the market always. So this is a cost concept of accounting. Okay, hope, I think this is pretty clear.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep, great. So that's great, you're asking questions, I'm happy to that. So just let's understand, before corporate financial statement, what is what are the type of organizations, and I've given some couple of examples here. So there are like very different way of organizations which a lot of people use it in relative terms, in their own terms, etc. and all, just for reference purposes. So let me read out. Actually, sole proprietary means a single person doing a business. He's a single, and his entire registrations and everything would be single. For example, Nitesh and company, I do personally open a a consultancy firm, and I start doing consultancy, I earn money. So that is nothing but a proprietorship. Partnership, it's very clear that there are maybe a couple of members come together and put a company with their name or whatever style it is, and doing the business for that firm, and that is a partnership. It will be registered as a separate legal entity. Except for the sole proprietary, all the below type of organizations will require a compulsory in income tax registration, which will be in the name of the company or the firm itself. For sole proprietary only, it will be in the name of the person, and photograph will be there. So if you take any kind of a person from below the sole proprietor, you take the PAN card, photograph will not be there, because there are multiple persons involved. In sole, because since you're only one, your photograph will be there on the PAN card. So it is an easy identifier. Okay. And there are PAN card rules which will be in income tax. So whenever you have time, just uh, browse through, you'll understand. Next is a private company, which is like completely closely held company, which is the only benefit is your and a liability will be limited to the shares what you're holding. So this is a concept where you are corporatizing yourself, putting everything on Ministry of Corporate Affairs that yes, we are also an entity. Public is like everybody is involved in this, listed on stock exchange, not listed on stock exchange, depends upon time to time. Next is a closely held company. Closely held means you are a company in a public sense, but you are not listed on any stock exchange. In this, there is one more company called as debt. So nowadays debt listing is also started. So debt listing company will also come up. There are something called as trust, where you normally see most of the temples are body of individuals or trust. There are societies, you can see societies generally in like flats where there is a huge building. It will be registered as a cooperative society and the shares will be sent to the amount of property you're holding it. Next is association of persons like ICI, ICWI, ICSI, and Rotary Club. So these are like AOPs which are specifically having for a specific purpose and for a specific outcome. So that is association of persons. Body of individuals. In body of individuals, you can have any individual which can include a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a company, or public company, anything. So it is a combination of any of this will be called as body of individuals. Here I mentioned it as President of India and Governor of State. President of India means he himself is a constitution. He himself he's a head of defense. He is a head of all the ministries. So all the ministries are nothing but your association of persons. Then on top of it, you have a president who singly handles everything. That is the reason it's called as body of individual. Next is any other legal entity, which is HUF, which is separately given. So HUF is nothing but a family which wants to register itself and it has some properties in it only for the benefit of family members. Nobody else apart from HUF is allowed to touch the profits or have share in that HUF. You should be born and brought up in the family to only have that HUF property. So this is a very good phenomena which India has. No other country has a HUF rule. So a lot of people do HUF for tax benefits purposes. Okay. So moving on, understanding the type of entities where we are mostly concerned for all these entities, accounting is same, no change. All the accounting standards are same. Everybody will have a same trial balance, same balance sheet, same P&L, as well as same cash flow statement. Next, moving further. Okay, now these are the meaning of financial statements. Okay, let me just go back. What are financial statements? Balance sheet, income statement, nothing but your P&L, statement of cash flow, and statement of changes in equity. So these are nothing but you might be able to understand very straightforwardly. Just give me a minute. My screen is actually not allowing me. Okay, great. Able to see now? Yeah. So balance sheet is nothing but it provides an overview of assets, liabilities, share capital, as well as what is actually happening in the company in a snapshot of a time. In a time means you can prepare a balance sheet from one particular period to another particular period. Specifically, I would say it's like for a period. So if you are preparing a balance sheet for a month, it will be for a monthly balance sheet or a quarterly balance sheet. If it is a yearly, it's an yearly balance sheet. Similarly, income statement is also at the same time. You can prepare income statement at any time and you can ascertain what are your expenses and what are your proper revenues which are coming from and what is your net profit actually. And statement of cash flow, remember always statement of cash flow is if your balance sheet is tallying wherever whatever accounts you're preparing, if your balance sheet is tallied properly without any errors, then your statement of cash flows is pretty straightforward because nothing but whatever all your assets on opening balance, nothing but previous year as well as current year, the difference between these two will be present in the statement of cash flow, but in a format style. That's it. So ensure that once your balance sheet is properly tallied, your statement of cash flows will be no way issue. It will be done. Okay. Next, statement of changes in equity is nothing but recording how profits are retained within the company for a future growth. Nothing. It is simple. In simple terms, you will call it as a reserve, reserves and surplus. Okay. So in reserves and surplus, how do you maintain it? In the same way, like we have to show what are the statements of changes in equity, whether you are moving the money from reserves to equity or equity to reserves, means nothing but share buyback, or if you are issuing additional shares out of reserves, this statement will give you that picture. Since it's a corporate financial statement, you will be able to see the statement of changes in equity. If it is not a corporate financial statement, you will not be able to see this in a normal financials. You will be only having this balance sheet, income statement, and cash flows. Okay, moving forward. Now, yeah, you have to understand what are the general features of financial statements. Why does it get prepared, and what is the main reason behind it? So having said that, there are some points here which I have personally done it. You'll not find this anywhere. So I thought that these are something which definitely everybody has to know while preparing the financials. Nothing but you have to present all your financials in a true and fair manner. True and fair means you should not keep any financials or any transaction in abeyance, or you should not hide it, in simple terms. And compliance with Indian accounting standards, we have total 31 accounting standards, 32 as well. So all the 32 accounting standards have to be tested when you're preparing financial statements. And remember always, whenever you go for an interview, interviewer will pick only one standard which you say that you are comfortable enough. Okay, and he will start asking it. When he starts asking, you should give an answer in such a way that your answer should be not allowing the interviewer to put up a new question based on your answer. Remember that simple term. If you select revenue recognition, cash flow, or accounting for construction contracts, anything, give it in a simple terms what you know. Don't go beyond what you don't know and just make yourself some trouble. Okay, because all your answers are clearly dependent on how you actually give your responses to the interview questions. Next is preparing your financial statements. It should be always on going concern. These are some assumptions you should keep in mind: accrual, materiality, and aggression. Aggression is also very important. Materiality, actually these terms are used in I would say synonyms of each other. So in simple terms, suppose you are making a balance sheet which is 100 crores, okay, and you have some expenses which are like in petty nature, like 100 rupees, 200 rupees, which you are not able to fetch the bill. Then what are you going to do? Are you going to sit on it and understand what is that 100 rupees? No, it is complete waste of time. It is better, what you can do is you can for time being, just put that as a petty expenses, and nobody is going to ask you because of the materiality you have in your balance sheet. So materiality is a very important factor. Understand that always whenever you prepare your balance sheet, some points, some expenses, some bills might not be having supportings. So for that supportings which is not material in nature, you can ignore that. Even your concept says that, so it is no way problem. Next is offsetting. This has started from accounting standard 22, nothing but deferred tax assets, accounting for taxation, where you will have deferred tax asset and liability. So offsetting is allowed as per Indian taxes only in balance sheet. That too for whenever you're preparing the books of accounts in for the company's perspective. But in income tax, no deferred tax asset and liability concept. You have to pay as per income tax computation only. Next, very important, frequency of reporting. Your frequency should be generally annually in India, but corporate companies, they prepare balance sheet every month, every quarter, as well as, since it is every month, so quarterly is nothing but some additional reporting. Every 6 months there'll be something additional. Annual, it will be full. So definitely every month they will close the books as if it is an year end. They will prepare the balance sheet, P&L, cash flows, everything. And I, a guy from fund accounting today as an AVP there, I every month review complete financials which will have a trial balance, which will have P&L, which will have a balance sheet, cash flows, also some notes to account, so that particular reporting pack. So we generally call it as a financial reporting pack. So it will have everything in it, and we prepare it. We ensure that everything is present perfectly. If we are missing out anything and we don't have that particular invoices or anything, what we do is we prepare an accrual or a provision, and we go ahead and ensure that balance sheet is done. Because every month since we are preparing it, we might not have time. So uh, in the availability of time, we will ensure that at the 90% of figures are correct. But when it is a yearly, when we are doing it, we will ensure that 100% of financials are accurate. Okay. Next is comparative information, current year, previous year. This is a very important point. The reason being, everybody prepares a financial statement and they will forget to mention current year and previous year figure together. What happens is, whenever you are writing any kind of a information, which might be any comparative information, anything, you take any balance sheet, when you write notes to the balance sheet, you will definitely have a current year as well as a previous year figure. And for example, I'll show you. Just give me 1 minute. I will share my entire screen for you guys so that you can see one balance sheet. I'll take right away from a uh, online. So this is one of the bank which I believe most of the people know, the AP Mahesh Cooperative Bank. So I found this website very easy because this is a, you guys can see my website, right? Mahesh Bank website. I just opened it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So let me find some balance sheet here. So I think they will be keeping the balance sheet somewhere in services, contact us. Can anyone see the, I want to see this. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is 2021 annual report, which is straightforward available in Google. I think you should be finding this similar balance sheet here as well on the website. Here it is. See financial results. Okay, these are financials for 2021, 2022. I just opened it. It was fast. So see, this is the financial result. What they have it, they declared it, and they also have. Just give me a minute. It's still opening. See, this is the balance sheet and a P&L account. If you guys can see, so they have figures for the current year as well as the previous year. Current year they have highlighted because this is a current year balance sheet. So everywhere, whenever you're preparing the balance sheet, they will ensure that this is there. Previous year as well as current year. I'll just do some bolding here so that you can able to see. See in the notes also they have mentioned it. For example, if I take see, this is our bank's performance. Profit of the bank before taxes stands at 44 crores against 44.2 in the previous year. This is one way they are mentioning current year, previous year. Then they said profit after tax stood at 32.9 against 34.19 of the previous year. See, again they said aggregate business is 37.94 against 444.9.76 in the previous year. So every figure you see, it has current year as well as previous year reference. So any financial you prepare, ensure that wherever you write it, the figure, it should definitely have a current year as well as previous year figure, but only for balance sheet figures. Do not mention current year, previous year for results like this. Book value per share, it's only current, because previous year figure is irrelevant. Earnings per share, this is only current. Previous year is irrelevant again. So this is how they show the balance sheet. So coming back to our presentation, so this, and then the last point, which is nothing but consistency as well as a presentation. So going forward, I everybody, I assume that you guys know what is the difference between a finance and accounts, right? Because most of the people, they say that finance and accounts both are same. Actually, finance is nothing but parent to account. Account is nothing but doing your postmortem of transactions, whereas finance is nothing but you arranging yourself for doing the business is nothing but finance. So you can go through this slide. I'll give it to you, but in general terms, I'll tell you what is finance. Ensuring that whatever is required to start the business and making sure that the business is started, that is all part of finance. recording everything wherever you spend for starting that. All that recording is accounts. So don't get confused what is finance and what is accounts. So if an interviewer comes, if he asks that, look boss, if suppose, I think many of you might have attended interviews from Genpact, they will start asking you what is the difference between R2R and accounting. R2R is nothing but record to report, and someone will say what is the difference between finance and accounts. So record to report means the entire process of finance as well as accounts, means you are recording the every transaction since the inception, whatever you spent for opening the business, and ending that with whatever expenses you are recording in the books. So don't get confused, record to report and accounts both are same, but accounts is a part of record to report. So this was one of the interview question which I personally asked a lot of candidates. Next is golden rules of accounts. I think people, everybody are familiar with this. Having said that, everybody are financial graduates here. I'll read out. Personal account, debit the receiver and credit the giver. Real account is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Nominal account is debit all expenses, losses, credit all incomes and gains. So here I'll pause for a moment. I'll give you again 10-15 seconds. So I have a question here for you all. What is the nature of bank account? I want the answer. You can put it on chat. You can put it on, or you can unmute yourself and you can talk. Just want to understand, because this is one of the most important interview question again when it is coming to finance. What is the nature of bank account? If you're not unmuting, you can put it on chat. Personal account. I got one answer. Anybody else?
Nature of bank account.
No, joint account can be, one or two people using the account together, but it itself is a bank account. Whether it is a joint or severally joint, etc., etc. How many joints you want to put, you can put that so many joints. Nominal account.
Representative, అది అదే పర్సనల్ అకౌంట్
Personal account, sir.
Sorry, it's a personal account. Okay, let me move forward. Bank account is a personal account when you're talking about what is the type of an account. But having said that, it is also a combination of real as well as personal. The reason is bank account will be always shown in the balance sheet, and whatever transactions happen in the bank account, it will have the impact on all the type of accounts here and all the golden rules. So therefore, just in a simple term, someone said representative personal account. So bank account is nothing but a representative personal account. Remember this is an interview question, and why it is a representative means it is representing a person on a particular time for that transaction. That is the reason. So it is still a personal account, but it's a representative personal account. Okay, great. Then moving forward, let us go to corporate financial statements, how your balance sheet, P&L, as well as cash flow statement looks like. So I think everybody knows, right? What is a balance sheet? What is a P&L? It's a pretty straightforward one. So this is what an ordinary P&L account looks like, correct? One side you'll have particulars, and this is a debit side, left side, and right side is called as credit. So this is straight. Now, when I was learning CA, or whenever I was doing all my curriculum, the entire curriculum, what I learned, my P&L account was looking like this only. It was in a T format, easy, and I would say I would be able to do this account in very shorter time. The reason being, the format is not that complicated or anything. I can use whatever I want properly. So this total on the top part, I know that this is a trading account, and below this is nothing but my P&L account. So therefore I would doing everything which is very straightforward, simple. But later on, when government they said that no boss, we don't want any simplicity, we want complication. So what they did, they changed the P&L account like this. They said no, you have to do this way only. So you have to write particulars in one side, then you have to mention your note numbers, your figures at the current year and figures of the previous year. And instead of all your opening stock, closing stock, purchases, sales, they said that look, your P&L account should look like this. One on the top you should have revenue, then you should have expenses, and after all this total expenses you will have nothing but P&L, sorry, profit before exceptional and extraordinary items. Then you'll have exceptional items, then you have profit before extraordinary items, then extraordinary items, then before tax expense, final is profit. So this is how your P&L account should look. This is how government said. So I said, okay, fine, we will also read this. Having said that, this entire top class up to total, this has gone now, and it is now sitting in this piece, revenue from operations and direct income. Only revenue part and the expenses part, nothing but the debit side is here, cost of goods sold. So now you are not showing opening stock, closing stock, purchases, and direct wages or direct expenses. You are showing cost of goods sold. So simple formula for cost of goods sold is nothing but opening stock plus purchases plus your direct expenses minus closing stock is nothing but COGS. In similar way, when it is a purchase service related industry, your COGS will be direct expenses, nothing apart from that. So someone will, this is also one more interview question, but when it is going into deep, someone will start asking, if it is a service related company, what will be there in the trading account? People will start telling opening stock, closing stock. In a service driven company, no opening stock, no closing stock, only expenses. Reason being, people will be sitting and doing the job. Suppose if it is not a people's oriented company, it is a manufacturing trading company or some kind of a retail sector, they will have goods, they will have all kind of items which are on the stock to sell. So those stock only will be coming. So ensure that in an interview, whenever this question is asked in the services, say that you have only direct expenses, nothing but employee related expenses. Okay. Next is, this was a balance sheet. So this balance sheet looks very simple. It had on the one side liabilities, on the other side assets. And liabilities also pretty straightforward. Capital, reserves, loans, creditors, other liabilities. Here fixed assets, debtors, inventory, bank, cash, over. But next, when it is coming to schedule 6, now it is called as, first it was schedule 6, then revised schedule 6, now it is revised schedule 3. And schedule 3, it is also getting revisions every day in and day out. Here the entire format again changed. Now it has equities and liabilities on the top, then you will be having non-current liabilities, then current liabilities. This is current liabilities part. Your next part of the balance sheet is non-current assets, where you will have internally some fixed assets, non-current and everything. Then you will have current assets, and in the end your other current assets, which is the last part. So this is how my balance sheet looks like now after getting the things changed. Now how do I remember this format? It's again, since it's old format which has been combined and got out into a new format, you should stop preparing the T-shaped balance sheets, start preparing in a schedule 3 format. So whatever is capital and related, so wherever, say if you hear anything called as equity share, preference share, some kind of non-convertible, convertible, etc., all those type of share capital, everything will fall under your shareholder funds. And whenever you see any particular item which is payable more than 1 year, put it in non-current liabilities, straightforward. Anything which is in less than 1 year, put it in current liabilities. Here comes one more interview question for you. What happens is, they'll say that I have taken a hand loan for 3 years. 2 years are over, 1 year is left out. Should I keep that hand loan as a non-current asset, non-current liability, or a current liability? Answer is straightforward. For first 2 years, you keep it as non-current because it is more than 1 year. For the last year, when you're preparing the balance sheet, since you have to pay it in the same year, put that as a current liability. Okay. So that's how things have changed. Earlier, we never used to change. If it is a 3-year loan, every time we used to keep here in a proper place. We did not have this issue of where do we have to classify this. So classification has become most important in the new format of balance sheet. So now I ask you people, have you any time gone through this balance sheet T format? You can unmute yourself and you can tell me yes or yes, no or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Then I can just walk you through this balance sheet from top to end, and then we'll move forward because we're only left with like 15 minutes. So it's most important. I have to take you through the interview process as well. So we have shareholder funds, then we have non-current liabilities. In shareholder funds, what we have: share capital, your reserves, and money against share warrants. Next is non-current liabilities. You have long-term borrowings, deferred taxes, other long-term liabilities, and long-term provisions. Under current, you have all short-term borrowings, trade payables, other current liabilities, and short-term provisions. Under the assets, you have fixed assets as a category. In the fixed assets, you have property, plant, and equipment, intangibles, capital work in progress, investments, intangible assets under development. And next, you have non-current liability investments, deferred taxes, assets which are net, then long-term loans and advances, then other non-current assets. In current assets, whatever falls less than 1 year, current investments, inventories, trade receivables, cash and cash equivalents, short-term loans and advances, and other current assets. This is what you have. In P&L, if you see, you have revenues, other incomes, your total income. Out of the total income, you have to expense out everything to arrive at the profit. Nothing but your cost of goods sold. If it is a manufacturing, salary, wages, and employee benefits will be across same for all the companies, whether it's a manufacturing, trading, or anything. You have finance cost and other expenses. That's it. This ends your P&L and expenses. These are exceptional and extraordinary items. Exceptional items are something which are like which happened after the balance sheet date, and which really require an attention. Or if you have one or two additional different companies and you want to put that some expense of that company here, so those are exceptional, which might not be natural or normal in nature, or I would say regular in nature. Extraordinary items are something which are not ordinary in itself. Accounting style definition, which are not ordinary. Ordinary means whatever are above the line, means all your other expenses, finance costs, etc. So extraordinary items comes only when there is a event which has happened, which is required to be incorporated in the P&L, and that might be very, very, very vague. And I would say, example, 31st March, my balance sheet was there. On 2nd or 3rd April, a huge fire broke out, entire factory got burnt. I don't have anything now in the factory. Everything I should write off. Everything has turned into ashes. I could take that, put it on our extraordinary items, and just move forward. But that has to be proven. Okay. Next. So this next 15 minutes, I want all you guys to open up yourself and tell me whatever fear you have in terms of facing an interview, or answering any kind of an interview question, or if you have any other doubts, it might be anything, you can talk to me. I can discuss not exact answers, but my experiences and what an interviewer looks for when he is conducting an interview. Okay, I will show you. I only have like 2-3 slides left out, which will have everything in this. Okay, and here in the interview questions, the most important questions I have just highlighted in red, if you can see. One is, tell me about yourself. Next question is, why are you leaving your current job if you're already on a job? Third question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Next is, what are your salary expectations? So these are some questions which all the interviewers will ask, despite knowing that candidate will answer or will not answer. And in the last, this is one more most important question. Do you have any questions for us? These are some 5 odd questions where every interviewer will ask, and every interviewer should answer whether he knows it or he doesn't know it. Apart from subject, whatever you know, your entire interview deal will be within these 5 questions only. The subject, whatever you learn, it's all the basics, because when you step into an organization, what is allowed is you will be trained in such a manner that all the systems, whatever are there, you have to incorporate yourself. Then they'll put you live. First day you go to the job, they'll say, don't start preparing journal entries. No, they will train you first, because all the systems, wherever they are, it might be complex or simple, they'll train you. Then they'll put you into real job. So until that time, you are in a training, and in order to get the training, you should know the basics. And before knowing the basics, interviewer will decide whether you are capable for the job with these 5 questions. Okay. So people, whoever want to ask anything about these questions can come to me. now, or I don't know when we'll talk again. But
Hello.
before, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Why should we hire? What is this answer, sir? Why should we
Why sh-
hire?
why should we hire you? Okay, I'll
Yeah.
tell you about that as well. But before telling that, I want to give you a standard, best, and non-rejectable. Trust me, non-rejectable is a word I'm using when you are answering the first question. Tell me about yourself means interviewer will be surprised when you give the answer. This is the best answer you should give. I have put it on my next slide. See, so when you are answering this question, you should always answer in this format: SEAT, SEAT, which stands for skill, education, experience, achievement, and the type of a person. Answer is pretty straightforward. Whenever you're answering, tell me about yourself, tell in a SEAT format, and never start with telling that, hi, my name is Nitesh, I would like to introduce myself. No, interviewer already knows your name, he has your resume. If he doesn't have, also doesn't matter. But never say that I am XYZ and I live in here, I am 10th class, 12th class, etc, etc, and all. No, nobody needs that answer because that's a standard answer. You should answer simple in this format. First, you have to explain your skill. If you are a fresher, you might not possess the skill, but you can say that I am a finance graduate. This is the way you have to say. Don't say that I'm a BCom, I'm an MBA, I'm MCom, etc. Those are your educational qualifications. Okay. It is a second part. You say that you are a finance graduate, and then you have to start explaining if you have any other skill. Like you should say that I know this particular jobs, I know this. So specify your skill set, and skill set and education both are different. So in the skill, what you know and what are you have to say that. And these are some examples I have given in the skill set. Like you are computer proficient, you can say that you have leadership experience, you are good at communication, you know organization know-how, you can say you have people skills, you have collaboration talent, you have problem solving abilities. These are some examples you have to give, apart from whether you are a finance professional or not. After completing this part, you start telling the education, and the way you express your education, you should say I am 10th class, I am BCom. No, you say that for this relevant job, I have a qualification of MBA in finance, which will help to tag this job. This is the way you have to answer. You should connect the job to your education. Then interview will be straightforward. Yes, this guy has prepared for an interview and he is ready to accept the challenge. Means he has done some groundwork and then he has come to interview. These are some good examples what we as an interviewers expect from students or from freshers or graduates which who have experience of whatever number of years. So first help them understand in brief manner how you can follow principle. Simple principle is start from day to start to and day end. Means suppose if you are an experienced guy, then interviewer will start asking you what do you do, etc. Before asking, put it in your education and experience. In experience, you should say you have done a job. Every time you are an experienced guy, you should say I'm experienced in 5 years, etc. But 5 years, interviewer will not understand. Help him understand your one day job. How do you do? You go to the office every day, right? So you say that I get a purchase voucher, I get a sales voucher, I get a journal entry, I get some etc etc invoices, I get some provisions to book, so I book the invoices, then I prepare these invoices, I get this for the approval, then I go for the management, then I prepare the reports, balance sheets, P&L, trial balances, cash flows, etc etc. So you mention that this is your daily activity. Help him understand his day, your day. If you are able to explain him your day in proper manner, then he will understand that you have a quality of observation. Also you have a quality of preparing yourself. Means you are meticulously prepared, you are point by point clear. If you are not able to explain your day properly, or if you are explaining like morning this is happening, evening I'm going for a tea, means then there is a break. You should explain him hour by hour what happens. So this comes under education as well as experience. Next, you have to connect your education and experience to along with your achievements. So how do you connect it? So you can say that while I have completed my BCom, I have also achieved so and so rank or so and so achievement, or I have got a so and so good feedback from xyz manager or xyz company. They have provided me with a memento, or they have given me oral communication, or they said that in an email, whatever it is. Nobody is going to check your emails, your mementos, your medals, etc. Okay, just ensure that whatever you say, see it in a normal manner, and don't break your communication when you're talking. Ensure that you're talking properly in a line. Once you say that you can you have completed these achievements, next you have to tell what type of a person you are, because it is most important. 100%, I would not say 100%, I would say in my curriculum wherever I have sent, 99% of the candidates, they missed out telling what type of person they are. I would say I'm a meticulous learner, I'm a hard worker, I'm a smart worker. This comes in the beginning, that they start like this only. But this is no, hard worker, smart worker doesn't work now. Some good words will work. So you can say that, okay, I am a positive, self-driven, self-motivated person, or smart worker, or believer, whatever it is. Okay, and once you say that this type of a person you are, like you are a good high profile guy, etc. and all, then later on you have to say about your, describe about your personal life as well, like how your personal life is connected to the job. So you can say that you want financial stability to ensure that my well-being of my family members is important for me. So this what makes me important for the job, to be myself in a job for longer time. So he will never ask you what is your 5 years goal. Once you say that I have a family to feed, and I know that because of this job my personal goals will be achieved, then those 5 year question, 10 year question automatically will drop. Suppose if still the interviewer asks you what are your 5 year questions after saying this, then trust me, that interviewer is a new guy like me when I did it in the beginning. Then later on when I took the interviews, when someone asked answered this, I said no boss, this is not relevant now. So this is how you have to answer the question. Tell me about yourself. Skill, education, achievements, and type. SEAT format. Okay. Hope I'm clear. Now next to question. Next question is, why should we hire you? So I stopped this question in the middle and I started explaining this entire seat format. The reason being, if I start answering why should I hire you in the beginning, then I think to connect everything it would be difficult for me. So now I'm able to connect the guy who has asked the question. The answer is pretty straightforward. You should hire me because I have my personal goals and I have a family who is dependent on me. That is the reason I am applying for the job, and I want a long-term relationship to ensure that stability is guaranteed from the company. This is the answer. Is a simple answer with a lot of meaning in it. Hope I was able to answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. So I'm coming back to this slide again. So I just want to understand what are the other questions you guys have apart from this. So should I go forward? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, continue. Tell me. Okay, moving forward, interviewers will ask what are the questions. This is a good question, and I get blunt responses always. Blunt means irrelevant. Question is straightforward. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Strength, people will say, I'm a hardworking guy. I spend a lot of time in working. I can stretch up to so many hours, and etc. And what is your weakness? Family is my weakness. Someone will say gulab jamun is my weakness. One guy though, I don't know what is his weakness. He say marriage is my weakness, sir. This was he told. I was confused when he says marriage was his weakness. Like, what are you talking? So these are some blunt or irrelevant answers what I got when I was performing the interview for candidates. Okay, so when you are presenting yourself, when you're preparing for an interview, I would suggest you can use these strengths and use these weaknesses. Okay, but just one thing is pretty straightforward. If you are able to answer any particular or put any point, then ensure that the meaning behind it should also be known to you. Suppose if you say in the weakness self-criticism, interviews will start asking what is self-criticism. If you don't know the meaning, then it is gone. Okay, so that is the biggest problem. And lot of times where one particular answer has I would say it's a rock star answer for everything. Okay, What is your greatest weakness, they call it. So the answer is pretty simple. They'll say, I don't know how to say no. Saying no, I have mentioned it here. Saying no to any kind of a job. So suppose any person comes to you and say, Are Anna, idu koncham cheshi pettu. Someone will say, Sir, please do it. So I don't know how to say no to that, because in the organization wherever you go, you are given a job, means you have been allocated 8 hours job. If you are able to complete in 6 hours, that is your goodness. You have 2 hours, enjoy. In the any organization wherever you go, just work for it, get paid, and just move on. No time for making friends, no time for making any kind of social service. Remember that. So saying no is the weakness, is a rock star answer, and every interview will say, okay boss, I'm convinced. Because a lot of people, what they do, suppose if they are doing some work and some friend comes up and says, boss, ఇది కొంచెం చేసి పెట్టు, they'll forget what they are doing, and they'll help help that guy to ensure that his work is done. So suppose if you are able to do the work in the dedicated time, within the time or less than the time, ensure how you can develop that work to reduce your time in going forward or give some additional quality to it. That is most important rather than doing someone else's work. Yes, I am answering in this harsh manner because I personally faced this. I then started saying no to everybody, and that is not my weakness now, that is my greatest strength now. Someone comes and says, koncham idi chesi pettu, I will say no, I will not do it, I have all the other works. So they will think, Arey, this guy will not do anything, etc., etc. Let them think, who cares? So in order to move forward and grow in the organization, you should be organized as well as proficient enough to say all those words. Okay, so this ends my presentation, but I'm again coming back with your questions, because you guys are the interviews all the time, face a lot of difficulty. So I'm expecting a couple of questions from you guys. It can be anything, anywhere. You can ask, I will answer those questions. Suppose if you had an interview, you're not able to overcome that circumstance, I'm open to it.
Open up the mic and you can speak to him. Share
Yes, sir.
your queries.
Yeah, anything.
Be fast, be fast.
How do you prioritize your work?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question. I think there
How
was
do
some.
you prioritize your work?
How do you prioritize your work?
Yeah.
Okay, for this, if you are a fresher, okay, there is a different answer. If you are an experienced guy, there is a different answer. For a fresher, you will say that I will start learning from my seniors about the priority, how they keep it on the work. Okay, and I'll understand the priorities. Then I will decide upon whether the priorities are right or wrong. If possible, I might take guidance from my seniors. This is for a fresher. If you are an experienced guy, then you should say that I will start ensuring that those works are completed which has real value to the organization, and I'll ensure that those works which can be done in a I would say in a relaxed manner, I will keep those works for the future. I would say in a future time, nothing but in a shorter span of time. Means prioritize those works which are critical, and prioritize those works which are important to the organization and add value to the organization. In the finance, 90% of your works will be priority works. So ensure that all my works, whatever I do it, I make a note of it, and I'll ensure that all are done. And in the end of the day, I'll check my checklist once, so that I have not missed out anything. Also, one, I would say cunning situation comes. Your manager comes and he gives you some additional work and he says, this is very important and very urgent. In that scenario, what have to do? What has to be done? Answer is pretty simple. In that case, if I have time to incorporate and give it, then I will be doing it. If not, then I will try to ask for a specific timeline for my manager, and I'll include in my priorities. This will answer the question.
So, okay, so I think our time is up.
Yep.
Okay, sir, before that, I wanted to call sir, Mr. Krishnan
Fine.
Garu, are you there? Sir, actually, CMA Krishnan He is authorized QuickBooks trainer from San Jose. San Francisco. He's there. He's online. Sir, can I? Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Just wanted to say hello to you, sir. And you take
Yeah,
so
I
much
was-
of my interest. I know he also took he's a senior person. Mr. Nitesh. He's from Hyderabad and he's now settled in San Jose, America. Okay.
Yeah, I was following the lecture. It was very good. He has
Okay,
given
nice.
very good points, guidance to the
Yes.
students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much,
So,
sir.
yeah, all the students actually each session will give us some inputs. He gave us actually one thing. He made it as a clear. One has to be thorough with all the fundamentals. In case of the job, you will be trained. You will not become directly as an accounts manager. First, as a assistant accounts manager, a deputy accounts manager, and then finally you become a accounts manager. Like, mean to say that first they will train you. That is the main thing. And he also emphasized on your accountancy. What are the general questions part of it? He made it, he shared with you with the senior persons, like in the capacity of vice presidents. They have been sharing their interview knowledge. You gain a lot. I wanted to make it sure that our students are trained. They're making the balance sheets. If you are verticals, like your accounts payable, accounts receivable, control accounts, they are telling, these control accounts part of, so everything like a part 1 and a part 2, like, they have been trained in case of up to corporate balance sheet. And they are not able to communicate in certain things. Otherwise,
Problem, sir.
so that's the reason. And may I request you once, we have to have a direct session with them to interview them.
I'm available, sir.
Yeah.
You call me on
Once
Sunday.
we interview, make the assessment of the candidates so that
Sure, sir.
we can help them for jobs also. Of course, they have been getting the jobs, but they wanted a sort of a better jobs. Am I correct,
Great,
sir?
sir. Yeah,
So
yeah, that
that
is very
way,
important.
We will assess the students with their knowledge and capabilities. Thanks a lot. All
Thank
the
you so much, sir.
students, please unmute the mics. Please give him a big hand. And he shared this Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All of you, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please give him
Thank you, sir, for giving.
the big hand. Claps. Okay, please. All of you. All of you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much, and
Thank
have a great, wonderful Sunday ahead.
Nice to share it. Thank you, sir. Good day.
Thank you, sir. You can call me up anytime, sir.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
can have sessions.
Definitely. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.